So this system powers my fridge. In the video before this one, you can see a review on my fridge. It powers my USB light at night and my phone. I have been so pleased with that. Very easy setup. I'll show you. Got the foldable panel, 120 watt. This is a 500 watt. The only thing I would do different is I would get a 750 watt. You know the saying, go big or go home, really applies here. I was worried kind of about the money. I shouldn't have. I was not thinking long-term, big time. This does keep everything powered, but a 750 watt, my refrigerator would have run about 48 hours. So it would have taken me over those cloudy days, those rainy days. Here is the back of it. This is where you plug in, whether it's electricity or your solar charge controller. This has a light. It's really bright. And then a dimmer. And it has an SOS. You do got to make sure you don't hit the button, because I've done that, and that does run your solar down. On the front, and I like these stand-up handles. Very durable, but they lay flat. In man room, is important not to have any wasted space. Here is your power, and you can see it's all on. You just press that off and on to get your power. Here's your DC, which will run your phone. It's all of this here, and then your 12 volt up here, and your AC is here, which runs this in your fridge. Now, I don't know what that is used for, probably a computer or something. I don't understand the PD45. I use the bottom two and the two plugins. Now, I also give you a view of the parking lot that I'm at. And as you can tell, it's sunrise. I also charge my rechargeable batteries for my camera. My asthma machine will run off of that. It's not anything I need very often, but it's nice to know that I can generate it. So I got the 500 watt with Bluetti or all solar. They don't run the battery all the way down because that kills the battery. So a 500 watt, you're only getting 450 watts. The refrigerator takes 38 watts. So you do the math, 38, 450, how long that'll run. But then I also use my solar USB light, which takes 4. And then my phone, which takes 5. Now, if you have a wireless charging phone, that will take 10. So that's all things to consider. The fan to charge my little round fans is it's 10 watts. But if you got a bigger fan, so I have 3 little ones that I charge, and it holds the charge, and then I use them, and I circulate them in the heat of the night. Just check your wattages. You cannot run a ceramic heater. You could have a 2,000 watt and maybe run it for 4 hours. Heaters take a huge amount. So do microwaves. I'm not sure about Instapots or anything like that. But do your math. Figure out how much wattage, what you're going to use. Blow dryers are another one, I think, that are really hard on it. So the more stuff you want to run, the bigger you need to go. If you're going to be a simplest like myself, refrigerator, phone, 500 will do, but I still suggest a 750. Now, let me show you the setup. Okay, so this is the Bluetti fold-up panel. Very lightweight, very easy to use. And how you set it up is just snap these little snaps. I always put mine on the windshield. And it's got this awesome little pouch here. This is an MC4 cord. The controller is inside the pouch, so there's nothing you have to do with that. And here's the male and female of the MC controller. So I hooked up my Bluetti. Sun's out, it's charging great, and all of a sudden, no charge. I'm like, okay, did it come unplugged? Check the plug. I checked the MC connectors. Move the connectors around. Move the panel around. Clean the panel. No charge. I'm like, what the heck is going on? It was charging great. Just quit. So I doked around with it. I'm like, okay, I'm putting it back for a little bit. Maybe figure it out. No matter what I did. So I call Lowe's, I call Home Depot, all those places. They don't know anything about solar. So I start calling commercial solar places. So I call several, and they're like, oh, we only do residential, we only do commercial. And then I find Solar Integrated. I spoke to Kathy in the office. Absolutely amazing person. She hooked me up with Ed, and between the two of them, they had me come in. He checked my solar. The panel just quit. He thought because it's foldable, the wires aren't quite as good, that maybe one of them snapped, but you have to go inside the suitcase part. I called Bluetti, no answer. Called customer service, called tech, nothing. Left a message, nothing. Emailed them the contact number. Within 8 hours, I got a response. I did not have my order number with me. I said I bought it in April. I had it sent to my kid's house. You know, I didn't even send in the warranty. They looked it up, they found my order number, and sent out a brand new 120 watt panel to my kid's house. So I don't have the panel with me, but the company stood behind their product, no questions asked, and I was able to give the old panel to a gentleman that was able to fix it. The fourth panel was bad. He disconnected it, hooked up the 3, and he is using the 3. So it's nice to know I was able to pass that on instead of throwing it in the garbage. But he said the whole panel was shot. So I don't know what the problem was, if it was defective or what. But Bluetti stood behind their product. The customer service, within 24 hours of emailing them, that panel was on the way to my kid's house. Very, very impressed for a company that stands behind. Now back to Solar Integrated. They do commercial and residential. They do big time solar. Here I am in my little minivan. They take the time to check it, and he hooked me up with a solar panel. If you are in Corpus Christi, Texas, this is a local business. This is not a big corporation. But they take care of the little person. Doesn't mean I want every van lifer to run over to him and say, hey, hook me up with a panel. That isn't what they do. But they went above and beyond because of my situation. And that next day, I had a solar panel, and I'll show that to you. Kathy and Ed, Solar Integrated, you're amazing. So I took everything out of the passenger seat, and this is where it's going to be. I'm going to put a blackout curtain over it, so nobody knows it's there, so shh, don't tell anybody. One thing about Bluetti is you can add other panels to your solar generator. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but I think I've read where Jackery, you can't add any other person's solar. This is a Rhenology Bluetti. Now, I have the 500 watts. You cannot go higher than 160 watt panel. Does that make sense? So I bring out my little solar generator with this panel. This is my MC4 cord. Here is the charge controller, and it is a lot bigger than the other one. I'm going to drop you down, and here's your MC Ford cord, and this is how, if you were putting it together for the first time, it shows exactly what you should do. Just want to make sure it snaps, and you just leave that hooked forever and ever. This part here, just like the other one, you just plug right into there. And then I'm going to bring you way down, and hopefully you can see that. So it's at 4850. That's showing how many watts are coming in. So you just adjust your panel to the angle of the sun. And this is not heavy, but it's heavy. It's good quality. So now I'm going to check. So we're at 63. And then just keep adjusting. Now I do keep mine up on that little footstool just so no bugs crawl in, ants, spiders, crickets. And you do want to keep the generator part out of full sun. So I keep moving that as I move my panel. And we're still at 85%. So I'm going to keep it there for a little bit. Okay, so now the question is, where will I put that panel? Will I have it right up front? I didn't want it on top because if I am in Florida, say in the heat of the summer, and I'm going to have to park in the sun. I'll want to be in the shade. Just, that was a big thing. Then I got a brilliant idea. Bluetti sending me the new foldable panel. Okay, so when I'm want to park in the shade, I park in the shade. My solar, my new panel is on the roof. My foldable, I sit out in the sun. And I charge that way. The other thing I didn't like about on the roof, you're not always going to get full sun on the roof because you're laying flat. It needs to be angled. Okay, I can work around that. But then I got to thinking, and I don't get brilliant ideas very often. So listen up, kids. This is pretty cool. What if I want to take a nap? I can't leave my solar panel out. What if I want to go for a hike and be gone for 3 hours? My solar panel's mounted to the roof. I can leave, have things being charged, and I'm good to go. So the panel will be going on the roof. I've done some research, found some mounts to go on my cargo rack. I just got to go get them and then figure out how to get them and make sure it's on there tight. But I'm going to have 240 watts of power. Time to get a bigger Bluetti station. I'm excited. One thing I like about Bluetti, it's a sine wave battery. Its cycle life is 1500. Other brands are a cycle life of 1000. That means you can cycle through 1500 times. So for the money, which is more cost effective than other brands, I did a lot of research, you're going to get more battery life. Another thing I like is a pass-through. I don't know about other brands. This has a pass-through. What a pass-through is I can be charging my solar generator either by electricity or by my car or by solar, and I can have things plugged in. So it allows you to charge while you are charging your other systems such as the fridge. So that's called a pass-through. It never takes the battery all the way down, which helps extend battery life. Keeping it as charged as possible is good on your system. Everybody buys a Jackery because everybody's buying a Jackery. I don't like to do what the whole crowd is doing. I like to, if you're going to go, everybody's going to go left, I'm going to go right. And it usually works out well for me, and it did with Bluetti. They stood behind their product. That says a lot about a company nowadays. Power Solar Integrator. Amazing company here in Texas. They just do the right thing also. Do you need solar? I would say yes. If you're going to do this full time, but even think if you're just tent camping for the weekend and you've got a cooler and then you got mushy lunch meat because the ice had melted, think solar. You know, you're not going to probably run your fridge at home off of 500 watt, but it's going to make your weekend camping trip a whole lot nicer. It has already paid for itself. Well, I got this in April. It's November. It's pretty much paid for itself because of the amount of money I would have spent on gas to go get ice. I eat healthier because I can have better quality foods. Solar is the way to go. Bluetti by Max Oak is definitely the way to go. I'm going to go up to $750. Eventually, I can't afford it right now, but that's my plan because I'm not coming off the road anytime soon. So I hope this has helped. I'm not real technical, but I did my research. A lot of it I've already forgotten, but I did my research to make sure I bought the product that would suit me the best. So do your research, talk to people, watch YouTube videos, make your decision, and then buy Bluetti. Take care, travel safe, travel free, stay fantastic.